How's it going, guys? My name is Kenny Brister. Here today to give you a little putting instructional. I got a few requests. There's really no big secret to putting. There are a few things I'm going to teach you that can help you out along the way. The main thing when it comes to putting is practice. You know, you're never going to be a better putter unless you come out and you practice and you practice and you practice. That's just the main thing. Starting out, when I first started, I was like I think 9 or 10. We used to putt probably 4 or 5 hours a day. I'm not saying that's, you should go out and putt 4 or 5 hours a day. Obviously, a lot of you people, don't have enough time, but that's the only way you're going to get better. There are, like I said, there are a few things you can learn. Your grip, very common. Fan grip, put your fingers on the bottom. Point your finger along this edge here. Put your thumb right over here to where you basically want your middle finger and your thumb basically touching through the disc. There's a lot of mind tricks you can teach yourself. A lot of times, especially like in a tournament or something, I get a little shaky on some of my longer putts, and I like to look at one chain link on the basket. Really just zero out everything else, picture that one chain link, and just go for that. Aim small, miss small. There's also the thing that I used to use where I act like there was just a basket. There was no chains, nothing else. Just trying to make, like, basically like it's a trash can, like you're trying to make it in the hole. But other than that, the form, there's a bunch of common forms used these days for people who do putting. One of the most common, the one I use, is to rock back on, depending on your left-handed or right-handed. But I rock back on my left foot, and you want to come from the stomach, and you want to push forward, and give it a little flick at the end, and keep it pretty flat. Also, if you're doing it the other way, see, there's also a stance. A lot of people do. It's called the squat putt, where you come here and you come from the middle. What I like to do is I like to line my right foot up with the pin of the basket, and I like to come straight line from the pin down to my leg, and I like to push it. And it gives you a really good straight line when you do this, because you can line up your putt with the basket, with the pin, down your leg, get a couple of good practice strokes in, and you're going to lean back, come from the stomach, and you're going to push straight. It's going to keep you on a good flat line. A lot of times you can imagine a little line, basically imaginary line in the air, and you're trying to release your disc on that line, and that'll help you a lot. There's also a big question people always ask, what putter you should start out with. Big mistake, a lot of people always come out here to these courses, and I see a lot of people walking around with disc in their bag that really doesn't need to be in their bag for their skill level. When you first start off, you go somewhere and literally you just start off and you're not throwing no farther than about 50 to 100 foot. You need to go to wherever you're buying your disc for and look for the DX plastic. It's a softer plastic. It kind of looks like this. It's really it's not rough, but it's not as smooth as your Champion plastic. But they sell those in the lighter weights. You want to probably start off somewhere around 150s and start from there as far as how much your disc weighs, and start from there and work your way up. I see a lot of these people start off with Champion plastic disc and Star plastic disc, and that's for more of a skilled player. And what's going to happen with Champion and Star plastic is when you throw it, you're not going to be able to control it as much. It's always just going to seem like it crashes left or right, depending on you throw with your right hand or left hand. But also, I was going to tell you about my favorite disc here. My go-to disc as far as putting goes is a lot of people's favorite these days. The KC Pro AVR is used by a lot of pros. It's just really an all-around good putter. Like I said, the KC Pro, that's like a step up from DX. Also, they sell the AVRs in all the DX, the KC Pro, the Champion, the Star. Also, another disc that just come out on the market that I got a couple buddies that are really liking it is this Vibram disc. It's really grippy. When you throw it, wherever it hits, it's going to stick. It's actually made with a really good plastic. I think there's some slow-mo videos of them throwing a disc into a brick wall with these discs, and it hurts the disc. Not at all. It doesn't put any kind of damage on your disc. Really not a whole lot I have here today. Most of my discs I left out at my buddy's house. But you got the Discraft Soft Banger. That's a decent disc. Like I said in the beginning of the video, there's really no certain putter. If you want a great all-around disc, I'm telling you, you want to go with the AVR. But it really depends on what you get used to. I mean, when I first started out, I started out with a birdie, which was like, it's a weird looking disc. You can find them at Academy, but really it's what you get used to for the main part. Alright guys, just to wrap up, basically you want to keep down to, no matter what you do, no matter what putting technique that you come across or whatever you decide to practice, you're going to have to stick with one right off the bat. You're going to want to go one putting strategy, one putting technique, and just do that one over and over and over. Because if you practice the same, say you're starting to practice this putt, the one I showed you in this video, and then you're like, oh, this isn't working out for me, I need to go to this. You're going to have so much going on. You really need to stick to one thing, and eventually, I promise you, it'll come through, and you'll start to get better at that putt. And you need to stick with one putt. Also, even if we have the luxury of having a nice basket in our backyard, even if you don't have a basket, I mean, you can have a pole to stick at. That's basically if you can just aim for a pole, because that works really well too sometimes in some of your putts. One of the little mind tricks I use sometimes is just trying to hit the pole in the middle. Lawn chair, anything, a tire to throw through, as long as you can get any kind of little target and get to where you're hitting that target, it should be the same. Also, I wanted to mention, whenever you're putting, you need to, whenever you go out to buy your putters or you have your putters, get two of the same exact disc, no matter what kind you decide to choose, two of the same exact disc, the same exact weight, because I've made the mistake whenever I first started out. I had 2 or 3 of different kinds of putters, different weights, and I would put the same way, but I had one putter that would fall fast, one putter that would stay and then fall right, one putter that would go straight. You want the putters that do the same exact thing, and then also you want to limit yourself to 2, because if you have a stack of disc here and you're just putting, you're going to get to where you're not as focused on each shot. You're just sitting here slinging disc, whatever, and you're not really practicing. With 2 disc, you got to where, well, if I miss this shot, I only have one more, so you're going to be more focused on each putt. Also, you guys, we got a video coming up. Subscribe to us, subscribe to our channel. We're going to have a lot more videos for you guys. Our next one we're going to have is on putting exercises. A lot of putts that you can do, a lot of little exercises. If you have 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I recommend trying to devote at least 30 minutes to an hour a day putting if you're trying to really up your skill. But 5-10 minutes a day wouldn't hurt. But our next video, if you will subscribe to it, we got a video coming up on putting exercises.